For question 4, we're adding rational expressions. So we're going to start with the same step that we will for almost all rational expressions from now on. Just make sure you factor everything. So my first fraction, my numerator x plus 3 does not factor, but my denominator does. So my denominator will factor to x minus 4 times x plus 2. My second fraction, x minus 5, does not factor, but my denominator will factor to x minus 8, x minus 4. Okay, when I look at my two denominators, I notice they're not the same, so I can't just add my numerators right off the bat. I need to find my common denominator. So in this case, when I'm looking for my LCD, I'll start by looking at my first fraction. My least common denominator has to include both x minus 4 and x plus 2. When I look at my next fraction, I must include that x minus 8, but it's not included in either one of these. So I have to include it. But then I see x minus 4 is already included. So my LCD is x minus 4 times x plus 2 times x minus 8. We look at what we have so far. In our left fraction, the only factor that's missing is x minus 8. But remember, I can't just multiply my denominator. It still needs to make sense mathematically. If I multiply my denominator, I also need to multiply my numerator so that our fraction doesn't change values. On our second fraction, the factor that's missing is x plus 2. So again, I have to multiply numerator and denominator times x plus 2. Okay, so now that I have common denominators, I will then add my numerators. But these parentheses are not going to allow me to combine like terms. I need to get rid of the parentheses. In order to do that, I will have to multiply this numerator, and then my second set of numerators I will also have to multiply. So let's FOIL our first fraction. The numerator FOILs x times x, x squared, x times 3, 3x. We have negative 8 times x is negative 8x, and negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. All over x minus 8 times x minus 4 times x plus 2. Plus. All right, we need to FOIL our next numerator. So x times x is x squared, x times 2, 2x, negative 5 times x, negative 5x, and negative 5 times 2, negative 10. All over x minus 8 times x minus 4 times x plus 2. At this point, I have common denominators, and there are no more parentheses left in my numerator. So I can start combining my like terms. I have an x squared plus x squared, so I have 2x squareds. Then I have a 3x. Okay, 3x minus 8x, that's a negative 5x, plus 2x, so negative 3x, minus 5x, give me a negative 8x. Now if you need to combine these first, and then combine. Take as many steps as you need to get your final answer. Okay, and then negative 24 plus negative 10 give me a negative 34. All divided by x minus 8 times x minus 4 times x plus 2. You do not need to multiply out your denominator. You also don't need to factor your numerator, but you can. So you could end up with 2 times x squared minus 4x minus 17. This is also an acceptable answer. So you're good to stop here, or if you want to take that extra step and factor.